We have a keynote address now. Please join me in welcoming Shri K Rajaraman sir, Chairperson, International Financial Services Centers Authority, IFSCA. Shri Ramarajan sir is a senior IAS officer with over 35 years of experience, of leadership experience in telecom, finance and infrastructure. He will share his vision on how regulatory innovation can help create a stronger and more future-ready financial ecosystem in India. Please welcome Ramarajan sir on the stage.
So, Mr. Prerak Sethi, co-founder, India InsurTech Association, Shri Abhishek Singh, CEO of the India IIA mission, and all dignitaries, distinguished participants, and fintech companies from all over India and representatives from companies across the world. A very good morning to all of you. It's with a great sense of pride and responsibility that I stand before you today at the 4th India InsurTech Association's Annual Event 2025, gathering that portrays the spirit of innovation, collaboration, and forward-looking thinking that will shape the future of our financial services landscape. After having seen, listened to some of the panelists, I see a great potential for collaboration between public policy experts, and the health industry, and the insurance and the InsurTech association. So probably next time around, I think I wish to see that probably a greater amount of participation from them, because I see whatever some of the panelists said, because as a former policy maker and presently as a regulator, I see a lot of inputs coming from them which probably should reach the right places. So getting the health ministry, the Ayushman Bharat mission officials, and people from the health industry, I think especially large hospitals and other companies, to also be present here, I think will make a lot of sense. And I also hear, I think from one of the panelists here about the natural requirement for health, for the insurance industry to make people stay healthy. That's like a hedge, I think that a financial company takes. So I think this is a very, very good thing. So I think maybe turning this into a campaign and getting wellness, yoga, and other kinds of activities also into the room, I think, because I think the whole thing has to evolve into a nice ecosystem which collaborates and networks with each other. So I think that will bring the greatest possible public welfare. I think that's the government desires. So I will very briefly tell you about the Indian economy, because this is very, very important, because we all sit in a context, and it's very important for us to understand where we are and in what direction we are moving. So the last several decades have been very, very remarkable for the Indian economy, in the sense that we have moved from becoming a very closed economy to a almost open economy, except for certain bits of the economy. The rest all can be said to be quite open to domestic investors, foreign investors, innovators, and so on and so forth. And it's getting more and more open by the day. So if you look at the achievements that we have made in the last several years, especially the last 10, 12 years, is something which we must look back, because we are working in an environment which must give us the trust and confidence that I think there is something which is really beckoning down the line, I think, which is very, very significant. Some of the very fundamental things in the economy have actually taken a turn for the good. Like, for instance, let's take the case of something as basic as inflation. In the last 10 years, since 2016, when the government signed the monetary policy framework agreement with the central bank, we have seen that the economy really being put back on the rails, I think, with inflation tracking around 4 plus or minus 2%. And now I think it's even better now in the last quarter. So, what I'm saying, and on top of that, the government implemented a number of financial sector reforms, which include nursing back the financial sector institutions back to health. Today, the banks are very healthy thanks to the Insolvency and Bankruptcy Code, consolidation of banks, and recapitalization, and very strict asset classification provisioning norms. Insurance companies are healthy thanks to a bout of recapitalization of the public sector insurance companies, and also the overall reform pitch that is being made. So if you look at the capital market, it's really booming. India is the second largest capital market in the world, with 327 IPOs last year, $20 billion raised, and this year it's hotter than before. So, what I would like to say is that the financial sector is looking very healthy. But the most important reform which the government of India has done, which I think is very important for this room, is the inclusion reform. I think if you look at the financial inclusion reform, the social and economic inclusion reforms, this is what I think is going to change the course of the next 25 years. So if you look at what will drive the economy in the next 25 years, to me, I think it is the bottom of the pyramid. It is not the top of the pyramid. The financial inclusion reforms which the Honorable Prime Minister of India has had launched about 7-8 years has brought in a lot of changes whose changes are only barely visible. I think a lot of things are happening under the carpet. 540 million people who did not have bank accounts today have bank accounts because of the Jan Dhan Yojana. They are connected to the mobile phones and the national Aadhaar. So we have now a digital infrastructure which today is largely being used for payments. Today you go to a street corner, even a vegetable vendor will take payments, and they will make payments using the QR code. Many of them have started saving in small amounts of money in the banks. I think the savings today is nearly about $33 billion. I think of all these 540 million bank accounts put together. So we will see these bank accounts being, I see it as the digital public infrastructure on which probably people will start insuring themselves, pensioning themselves. They will start investing in the stock markets. They've already started investing in the stock markets and so on and so forth. So, let me give that example of the stock market because that is where the changes are visible. Today, in 2014, there were 20 million unique trading accounts in the stock markets, what we call as demat accounts. Today, we have 120 million accounts on the stock markets, I think. And if you think that what does 540 million people who now have bank accounts, who are really in the bottom of the pyramid, will do, I think in the next 25 years, that's where the change is going to happen. How do we now connect them with products which actually make them, which attract their attention and also help them to become even more, I think, on a stronger economic footing. So the government of India is, with the Insurance for All agenda, is certainly, I think, put the whole thing on a fast track. The domestic insurance regulator, IRDA, is also working on Bima Sugam and a lot of other applications which will make this happen. So I believe that the opportunity is how do we harness fintech in this national goal of reaching out to the bottom of the pyramid. With our insurance penetration at 3.7%, I think we have a long way to go. And therefore I see fintech and technology, that is basically InsurTech and technology as such, as the biggest tool that actually turned this whole thing in the head. I think by bringing the fortunes of the bottom of the pyramid to better situations or circumstances. If you look at what the government of India is thinking, I think the Honorable Prime Minister of India visualized the thought process of Vikasit Bharat at 2047 agenda in 2022. So what is this Vikasit Bharat at 2047 and what does it mean for this, this group of people is something that we must brainstorm because that is the 25 years that we are looking ahead. The thinking is that how do we become a developed country? Becoming a developed country, the statements seem so simple, but then the strategies and then the ways and means to make it happen is going to be humongous and challenging because we have 1.4 billion people to look at and to handle. So therefore, the ordinary ways of doing business will not get us there. Business as usual will not get us there. So there has to be disruption, there has to be transformation. And I see technology as one way of disrupting this. If the way technology has disrupted the payments landscape, I'm sure that the technology is going to disrupt the insurance landscape as well, as some of the players here have mentioned. So how smart insurers will join hands with even smarter insurtechs is going to actually change the way I think the business is done in this country and how the fortunes of this country is going to get changed. So if you ask me what is this Vikasit Bharat at 2047, there are 4 pillars, I think, which some of you must think about because all of us are citizens first and then probably businessmen. So the first pillar I would say is the reforms pillar, I think, because I'm sure that many of them spoke on the need for change in the regulations and change in the law. So we have laws which are colonial in nature, I think, which have come up maybe 50 years back, 100 years back. I used to be Secretary Telecom in the Government of India till 2023 when I retired. The law that used to govern the telecom sector in the country was the Indian Telegraph Act of 1885. So, we had to introduce we prepared the Telecom Bill of 2022 and in 2023 the Cabinet approved it and the Parliament also enacted it. So today we have the Telecom Act of 2023. Every ministry is doing that. In this Parliament session, the Shipping Ministry has completely replaced all those old laws with new laws, the Coastal Shipping Act, the Merchant Shipping Act and so on and so forth. So the Finance Ministry is also working on the Insurance Amendment Act and so on and so forth. So the first and the most important thing the Government of India is doing, which will take another couple of years, is to replace all those aging laws with modern, business-friendly, technology-positive, and forward-looking laws. And once these laws are done, I think there is the great opportunity for regulators like us to build regulations which are world-class in nature, I think. But fortunately, let me say that the International Financial Center did not have baggage to carry. So in 2019, when we wrote our regulations, we had the opportunity to look inward or outward. And our teams did a fantastic job by consulting the industry and picked up the best practice from all over the world, despite the constraints of the mother laws. So we have regulations which are fairly aligned to the rest of the world. So not completely aligned, but fairly aligned. And it has given the confidence for a lot of people to actually to set up businesses in IFSCA and use it as a platform to serve India. So the first pillar is reform. There is a legal reform, regulatory reform, ease of doing business, and so on and so forth. The second pillar is the investment pillar. India needs more investment. It requires investments in infrastructure, manufacturing. That's a topic of another day. The third pillar is technology pillar, and that's why you are all here. I think the technology pillar is going to transform and change the way I think this country is organized, and that how people live, and how our future will evolve. So technology has already impacted, as I said, in the payments sector. There are many other sectors where technology has completely changed the way in which we work. So like typically call the sharing economy. I think today the Olas and the Ubers and the similar structures across the economy have made the economy much more efficient than it was because of the benefits of sharing, the shared economy principles. So I see that all of that happening in the insurance sector as well. I think a lot of very vibrant fintechs here. When I didn't have the time to go through all the stalls, but I can see a lot of energy in the various kinds of fintech businesses that are built up around KYC, around consumer-facing platforms, around AI, using AI as a means to make businesses more efficient, to improve decision making, and so on and so forth. So I see this, and if you look at the fourth pillar, before I come to the InsurTech sector, the fourth pillar is the inclusion pillar. This pillar is far from complete. What the government of India has implemented is inclusion 1.0. The 2.0 is yet to come, which probably looks at use of more technology to see how we make people save, make people insure, pension, and then do investing in the stock markets, even at the bottom of the pyramid with great ability. So I believe that the Viksit Bharat can be possible using all these pillars. And for you, I think I see you guys as some of the biggest participants in Viksit Bharat 2047 with the technology weapon in your hands. I think it can really turn around the insurance industry significantly. So if you look at what are the innovations that are possible, there are the things which can harness hardware, like Internet of Things, telematics, software applications which include big data, data analytics, robo-advisors, machine learning, artificial intelligence, DLT, and so on and so forth. And then we can have new business models which include peer-to-peer, user-based, and on-demand insurance, and so on and so forth. So if you look at the use of these digital tools, I think some of the sections of the industry have actually harnessed it to great benefit on some of the applications such as automated underwriting, things like detecting frauds and predicting risks, mobile apps and digital platforms for customer convenience and comfort, motor insurance that adjusts rates based on your driver behavior, then smart home devices and wearable health trackers to advise customers on health positive ways of living, and so on and so forth. So on the whole, I think InsurTech has got the potential to deliver efficiency improvements to industry, personalize insurance products, create better customer experience, cost reductions, improved risk assessments, superior customer experience, and greater financial inclusion. So, depending upon the problem statement that at hand, which you are trying to solve, I'm sure that I think you will make your contributions to the sector. So, from what I see from the various reports, I think you can see that the global InsurTech market is valued at around $15 billion. And in fact, I was struck by the amount of venture capital funding that has gone into InsurTech, which has crossed nearly about $60 billion as on date. Of course, in the last several years, there has been a dip in the industry. But that shows the kind of trust and confidence that the investor community has in this particular sector. So, but in India, I think I look forward to reading this report today. I think I look forward to its launch. I think it probably would tell us what direction this industry has been taking in India and what direction it should go. So, but from my opinion, I think some of the things that we need to solve, I think as a regulator, I think let me say the issues that need to be solved include, say, simplified licensing frameworks. I think for things like SupTech systems and RegTech systems and so on and so forth for the insurance industry. Then digital KYC, I think this is the biggest thing that needs to be solved. In fact, very recently, we are likely to notify the unassisted video KYC framework for GIFT City as well, which involves cross-border onboarding of clients, NRIs who are sitting across the world. So this will actually be a big plus point for NRIs to access dollar insurance in GIFT City as well. So then open insurance products like, which includes data sharing between insurers, banks, fintechs, and so on and so forth. If you look at the technology infrastructure, I think India has got strong technology infrastructure. We have data centers which are coming up already. We have nearly about 1.5 gigawatt of data center capacity, and more is coming on the way. So I think the digital infrastructure is getting stronger by the day. We have digital platforms. We have AI and data analytics capabilities, including the GPU capacity, which the Ministry of Electronics and Information Technology has set up in India, which can be accessed by the InsurTech industry. I'm sure that some of you must be already accessing the 35,000 plus GPUs which have been installed as public infrastructure for fintechs. So I'm sure that all this infrastructure is going to help you in actually scripting your product and your service. So while technology is a great enabler, I would like to request all of you to also focus on data privacy, cybersecurity risks, confidentiality, informed consent, etc., etc. Now that this has become a very important requirement as per the Digital Data Protection Act, which is likely to be notified in some time from now. Then things like algorithmic bias, unfair pricing, discriminatory pricing, and so on and so forth. And also address issues relating to ensuring consumer trust and prevent mis-selling and so on and so forth. And finally, to ensure oversight over third parties who may be offering services via APIs, to ensure that they are also on board in terms of all these very fundamental non-negotiables. Now let me close my, in the next few minutes with where I come from. I think I'm the chair of a regulator called the International Financial Services Centers Authority, which is the 5th financial regulator in India. So we are, to put it very simply, we are the Reserve Bank, the insurance regulator, the pension regulator, and the stock market regulator all rolled into one. I think we are a unified regulator which regulates a small offshore market in the place called GIFT City, which is in Gandhinagar in Gujarat. So this is a special economic zone. Some of you must have been there, and I think so. The idea behind GIFT City was to help Indian financial sector businesses to go to the world, and also to enable global financial market to come to your doorstep. So it is both ways. So it's both an inward looking platform, and it is also an outward looking platform. So inward looking from what sense? I think so from the sense that if there are Indian companies who are actually accessing the world market for various kinds of financial services, then our interest is actually bringing these financial services to our doorstep, so that the corporates don't need to go hunting all over the world for all these kinds of services. So today we have a very significant number of insurance entities. There are 22 insurance offices in GIFT City, all Indian companies, foreign companies, etc. There are 31 IFSCA intermediary offices. And of these 22 insurance companies, I think there are 7 life insurers, 4 general insurers, 2 health insurers, and 9 reinsurers. We are seeing very active traction in the reinsurance industry, and I think we believe that the number of 9 reinsurers will soon become probably 20, probably in the next year or so, I think. So this is something which is very positive, because we are bringing the world reinsurance market to the doorstep, I think, so which is very positive for the Indian insurance industry. I will say that the IFSCA regulations are light touch, and if I may look at the other sectors which are very, very important, there are 35 banks. The 35 banks include 20 international banks. The total assets under management have crossed about $100 billion. And the total credit which the banks have in GIFT City have lent to anywhere in India and the world is about $71 billion. And about $51 billion has come into India as external commercial borrowings. $20 billion has gone to foreign subsidiaries of Indian companies and foreign companies. So IFSCA today has brought the global corporate marketplace, a financial marketplace to the doorstep of the Indian corporates. And we believe that this will scale up as we go by. We have a very active fund industry. There are about 397 fund managers who have floated 320 plus alternate insurance funds, which include venture capital funds, impact funds, hedge funds, private equity and private debt funds, and so on and so forth. So if you look at the insurance sector, I think the opportunity here is twofold. One is to bring the reinsurance market to the doorstep. The second is to support the 15 million NRIs who are living outside the world, in the rest of the world, with life insurance products, with health insurance products, with travel insurance, and whatever kinds of insurance that are affordable. So I see technology and fintech as a way to actually bring them here. Because if you look at NRIs, what is the problem statement, I think? So they will eventually come back to India, right? And if you look at them, they are like a pyramid. The bottom of the pyramid is the blue collar workers, who are there in many parts of the world, like UAE, Malaysia, Singapore, and other places. So we need to ensure that they are insured, I think, because this is a very, very important thing. And insuring them in mainland India has got the advantage of actually getting them nominated. I think they can have nominations in India. The succession process happens as per Indian law, and the entire legal process is very simple and can be followed up by their family in India. So that is the biggest advantage. So how do we get these 15 million NRIs insured through insurance products from GIFT City is the problem statement. So currently we have a few thousand policies written out of GIFT City, but that is just the beginning. So we probably believe that the InsurTechs here have the answer to the problem. And we welcome all of you to come to look at GIFT City and evaluate if you consider the global business as part of a business model. And then our team, Mr. Mahipal Reddy, who is our executive director, and Mr. Satyaraj, who is our GM in charge of tech and insurance, and TechFin, is also here. So we'll be very happy to take these conversations offline as well. So let me close by saying that technology is the answer to the Viksit Bharat at 2047 challenge that the Government of India and the Prime Minister has taken on themselves. And we believe that we as a regulator must actually support innovation in a big way. We have a regulatory sandbox. If there are companies willing to test your product there, I think you are welcome to file an application. I think we also have an interoperability regulatory sandbox which covers the sandboxes of other regulators within India as well. That means if there is a business model which looks at India, domestic India as well as the foreign countries, I think maybe some testing can be done in the IORS as well. So with this, I'll stop here, and I'm extremely delighted to be a part of this group. And I think I would like to congratulate Prerak and his team and his executive committee who really assembled all of you here. It's a small group, but I'm telling you, I think this is going to grow to scale, I think. And I wish you all the best and look forward to a very active collaboration with you and with InsurTech Association in taking this great journey of Viksit Bharat at 2047 forward. Thank you and Jai Hind.
Thank you so much, K. Ramanujan sir. Very, very helpful, very insightful conversation. We have a very strong regulator in India in terms of helping InsurTech, insurance companies decipher the right frameworks to operate in.